For over 80 years, Wittrock Motor Company, a third-generation family-owned dealership, has been investing in the Carroll area since 1935. The story begins there, in 1935, when Michael August Wittrock went to work for his cousin, Kelly Stallman, at Stallman Motor Company in Carroll. Then in 1940, Wittrock bought the dealership and is still in continuous family ownership. In 1970, Wittrock bought a familiar and historic building from Mort Mackey, previously McCoy Motors. That building, which sits at Highway 30 and North Carroll Street, housed the dealership until 2005, when Mike's son Michael Ernest and grandson Kevin moved to the new facility, which anchors the west side of Carroll at Highway 30 and 71. All along the way, the Wittrock family has been a huge part of the Carroll area and will continue to do so. Wittrock Motor Company of Carroll since 1940. Tyler Bruner here once again for another Wittrock Motor Company Student Athlete Spotlight interview. Today we're at Paton-Churdan. We got a basketball game coming up here soon, but we're excited to join with Bailey Anderson. I have to get that right. I get you and your sister mixed up a little bit, but Bailey Anderson from Paton-Churdan joining us here on our Wittrock Motor Company Student Athlete Spotlight interview. Bailey, first of all, congratulations. This is a fairly new award that we give out at Carroll Broadcasting, just giving it to students who go above and beyond, not only here at the school, but the community. But thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Bailey, let's talk about, first of all, you're an athlete here at Paton-Churdan. You're involved in a lot of sports. You've been sidelined a couple of years by injuries. We'll talk about that here soon. But let's talk about last night at Colonesco. You guys get a huge win against a team that I think challenged you very well. Talk about that game, first of all, and just what was going on all throughout that game.
It was a close game all the way through. We were fighting for every second of it.
And this team is a little bit unique. You've lost some senior leadership the last couple of years. Daniel Hoyle kind of being that one you guys got to, I think, a second round playoff game not too long ago. What has it been like this season for this team, only having 7 to 8 girls on this team?
We've just been basically rebuilding this season. A lot of freshmen, so a lot of underclassmen just rebuilding for years to come.
And what has that been like to develop the freshmen? Because of course there's a lot of growing pains that come with that. There's a lot of learning throughout the season. So what has it been like to kind of get them ready to take over these next few years? Is there a lot of just like parenting of like, okay, let's not do this, let's do more of this, or what has it kind of been like? Because you have your sister on the floor too. Is there bickering between you two?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And I know she's had some really great games and seasons too. So what has it been like to see her develop while playing with her on the floor?
Just how much she's improved throughout the season and how much our team's gotten better this season.
And you guys, again, have to continue to develop. And I think you guys have had some very close games too this season. With just the numbers you've had a lot of really nice games. Let's talk about you and being here at Paton-Churdan. Obviously, it's a smaller school, so you basically know everybody here at the high school. So what has it been like to be at Paton-Churdan and just being a student and knowing everybody?
It's just a nice feeling to get to know elementary students as well as knowing all the high school students, to know that there's younger kids in the school that are looking up to me and other high schoolers. And
that's going to be a humbling feeling, because you got kids who are coming through the Paton-Churdan system and they look up to you as kind of, I don't want to say a superhero, but kind of, they see you on the basketball court and they kind of look up to you. So how is that, what has that kind of been like now as a senior and seeing those kids look up to you?
I feel like it feels good for me to know that I am a role model for those students.
Absolutely. Now, you're not only just involved in sports, but talk to me just about what you're involved in here at Paton-Churdan.
So here, I'm also involved in band, choir, speech. I've been in yearbook, and
you start to lose count of everything you're involved in. So speech is one of those things. I was in speech as well in high school. That's a fun opportunity to go out and meet new people and everything. So talk about the speech season. How did that go?
Good. We are going to state, so that is tomorrow. We're performing at state for speech.
Well, congratulations on that. What's the category you guys got down to state?
Reader's Theater.
Reader's Theater. That's fun. That's honestly a lot of fun. How many have you been down to all state yet? Have you been to state? What's kind of been your experience in speech?
No, I've only participated in speech a couple of years.
Okay.
And first year making it to state, so
really
good experience.
Congratulations. Now I gotta ask, because when I was in speech growing up, there's a lot of characters at speech, a lot of interesting individuals you met. Has there been anyone like that you've met at speech quite yet?
Not really. You can just tell. There's just a lot of different people there.
So you're more like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
You can do the crazy things on the gym floor. I'll just be by myself. I get ya. What's the performance all about that you guys are going to compete at state?
It's 13 ways to screw up your college interview, so it's like a comedy.
That's perfect. I think that's only fitting that we're, of course, we're interviewing you. So what are some of those tips that they have in the musical theater?
It's just a lot of silly things that you don't want to do.
So I guess taking some of that advice from the musical theater, that's awesome. Outside of school, I was told from Annie Smith that you are involved in a lot outside of the school. So talk to me just about some of those things you're involved in.
I'm involved in 4-H, and then I'm also involved in my church where I teach Sunday school and ring in our church handbell choir.
Wow, so not only a leader here in school, but also a leader at the church. So what kind of got you involved in doing that at church?
I've always grown up going to church with my parents, and my parents always grew up going to church, so it's just a thing we always do.
Just kind of a natural thing to kind of get into that. Talk about your 4-H experience. I know there's a lot of students here throughout this area that are involved in 4-H and projects and stuff like that. What do you do with the 4-H?
So in 4-H, in previous years I have shown sheep and goats, and I've also taken building projects like photography, sewing, food, nutrition, communications events with like posters and working exhibits, and have made it to the state fair with a few things.
Oh wow, well congratulations on that one. That's a huge accomplishment. So just continued success that you can add to your resume. Are you going to miss the 4-H experience? Because I know you might have an opportunity to come back and continue to do some of that stuff, but you're going to miss a lot of that.
Yeah, it keeps me busy.
What's your favorite part about being in 4-H?
Probably like fair week.
Fair week. It's a busy week, but it's a fun week. It's definitely a fun week. Just talking about your entire experience, obviously you're a senior if I'm correct. You have your sister who's going to be coming through here. Talk to me just about playing with your sister. We talked about it a little bit. There might be some bickering on the floor, but what has that been like playing with your sister in your last year?
It's been fun because I obviously haven't got to play the past 2 years basketball because I tore both my ACLs, so it's been fun just to play in general. And
talk to me about that, because I heard a little bit about that, but you tore, is it both of your ACLs or just one of them in one knee? I tore one my sophomore year and then tore my other one junior year. Okay, so literally the last 2 years you really haven't been out in the court or doing anything. What was that like? Because obviously you go your freshman year, you're involved, you're playing, and then now the last 2 years you've been subsided. What has that been like? It's been fine, but I'd rather be playing. I was gonna say, you'd rather be out in the court playing. So obviously you come back here this senior season, and obviously this team kind of looks a little bit different than in years past. Only about 8 girls on the team this year. You talk about just how it's been a nice team building experience this year. What was it like getting back out on the court finally and having this whole season? It was different. Just I didn't remember what it was like to be out on the court playing. I was gonna say, were you a little bit winded that first game back? Yeah. weren't in basketball shape quite yet, but I tell you what, congratulations on that too. I mean, I'd say that a lot, but obviously coming back for 2 ACL tears is, to have one is a lot, but to have 2 of them come back to play your senior year is something spectacular. So from 4-H, from speech to all your leadership roles you've had here at Paton-Churdan, what are some of the things you're gonna miss about being here? I'm just gonna miss seeing everybody, being with my friends obviously every day, and just the whole experience. What's sort of the future of Bailey Andrew going to be? Are you going to be going to college? What's kind of the thought process on that? So my future plans right now are to attend Iowa Central and to major in elementary education. Well, that's just perfect. I mean, you teach at church, you've had leadership roles. It's just, again, a nice natural progression. So is that kind of those experiences led you to that kind of idea for that kind of major? Yeah, I decided to be involved in those things because I like being around kids. Absolutely. Well, Bailey, I tell you what, we got a game here soon, so obviously we'll talk about this interview on the air. But thanks so much for joining me. Thank you. We wish you good luck here going to Iowa Central and all of your opportunities. And thanks so much for chatting with us. Thank you. Absolutely. Again, this is our Wittrock Motor Company Student Athlete Spotlight of the month for the month of February. And again, it's Bailey Anderson.